morning, viewers out there, and welcome to your number one favorite program on television inside Nigeria, where we review and discuss front page headline stories on the day's newspapers. My name is Winifred Ugbevo, anchoring your anchor for the program, and I hope you did have a wonderful weekend. We have some papers on our menu for review this morning, and of course, we are starting with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership is leading with a story on National Assembly. Let's see what it's all about. Of course, it's an exclusive story on National Assembly. National Assembly spends 53.7 billion naira on cars for lawmakers in 12 years. National Assembly spends 53.7 billion naira on cars for lawmakers in 12 years. We can't continue this way, CSOs say spending on cars unjustifiable, unsustainable. Obviously, these 12 years cut across started from President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's administration, 4 years and 8 years of Buhari's administration. Now spends 53.7 billion naira on cars for lawmakers in 12 years. We can't continue this way, CSOs say spending on cars unjustifiable, unsustainable. Of course, we have a chart there beneath the story. In 2011, 3.5 billion was spent. 2015, 4.7 billion was spent. 2019, 5.5 billion was spent. And in 2023, we have 40 billion naira. Seventh Assembly was headed by David Mank, 8th Assembly Bukola Saraki, 9th Assembly Ahmed Lawan, and 10th Assembly presently Godswill Akpabio. Okay, from it started from 2011. From that headline story, we also move over to the other stories gracing the cover of Leadership. We have Falana confirms participation as keynote speaker at Leadership NDLEA conference. Falana confirms participation as keynote speaker at Leadership Stroke NDLA conference coming up in August. Federal government, states, local government areas share 39.22 trillion naira in 4 years. Citizens demand accountability. Above the masthead, we have INEC and AMEC guidelines on in-transmission of results, Appeal Court says. INEC and AMEC guidelines on e-transmission of results, Appeal Court. Insecurity, reps introduce hunter/forest security bill. We have NDLEA arrest drug lord with 93 cocaine wraps in Lagos. APC zoning is North Central Zone, says Northwest Vice Chair. 103 corpses from NSAS crisis not killed at Lekki Toll Gate, Lagos government. We move over to the page 3 of Leadership, where we have our stand. It is the editorial of the paper. And today's editorial is on diphtheria outbreak, a call for action. Diphtheria outbreak, a call for action. Before we leave Leadership, we want to see what the back page of the paper is saying today. And that is the Monday column with Dakuku Peter side. It says, this deity called Petro. This deity called Petro. Ghana Must Go says there's a sinister plot to undermine Nigeria's judiciary article. And then I must go now ask, did you see it from Dubai? Interesting. Well, for more stories, inside stories as well, just log on to the website of Leadership, www.leadership.ng. From Leadership, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is Blueprint newspaper. Blueprint newspaper has the leading story: ministerial list with 4 days to go. Lobbyists put Tinubu under intense pressure. Ministerial list with 4 days to go. Lobbyists put Tinubu under intense pressure. Politicking of list are worry. Politicking of list are worry. Senate source. We have First Bank reports gross earnings of 607 billion naira in 6 months. Poultry farmers to federal government rescue our sector from total collapse. 6 friends die after consuming drinks served by 7th friend. 6 friends die after consuming drinks served by 7th friend. with such people, you don't need a friend. Police, you don't need an enemy. Police repair bandits, key to in Niger, 3 villagers abducted. Gunmen evade Marcus Nasarawa residents, injure guards. Above that, we move up to the stories ahead of this. Nigerians curb travels, other expenses as fuel price hike bites harder. Reforms, Naira falls 85%, revenue surge 142%, masses under pressure. Rewan. National Hydra chair lost Tinubu over Nakon's return to VP's office. These are stories on the cover of Blueprint newspaper today, Monday, July 24, 2023. Just before we leave Blueprint, we want to move to the editorial page of the paper where you will read, see what the post of the paper is on today. And today is on the International Airport on Security Duties. International Airport on Security Duties. From Blueprint newspaper, we move over to the next paper, and that is The Guardian. The Guardian's leading story is an exclusive story, also, just like leadership. 105 more days of sit at home. Southeast loses 7.6 trillion naira productivity investments to agitation in 2 years. 105 more days of sit at home. Southeast loses 7.6 trillion naira to productivity investments to agitation, in 2 years. Southeast loses 7.6 trillion naira productivity investments to agitation in 2 years. Because you have pictures of the Southeast governors underneath the leading story. We have APC National Working Committee, Lukman lock horns over party's chairmanship. Discordant views over allegation of judge's tenure in office. Lagos flays rumored burial of NSAS victims. Above that, we have from prison to correctional center, what has changed is also news analysis, which is the editorial of The Guardian today, July 24, 2023. From prison to correctional center, what has changed? Obviously, just in name only. For more stories on that, and of course, stories inside pages, log on to the website of The Guardian, www.guardian.ng. From The Guardian, we are looking at The Punch. Let's see the headline stories of The Punch newspaper today. The Punch says workers kick as governors borrow 2.2 trillion naira from banks. Workers kick as governors borrow 2.2 trillion naira from banks. Governors borrowing spree has left states poorer. Pensioners, workers lament. Governors borrowing spree has left states poorer. Pensioners, workers lament. Government must avoid short-term borrowing that may harm state finances. Don's warn. We have pictures of the Chief of Army Staff, Major General Taori Lagbaja, during his inauguration of operations to tackle herders, farmers clashes in Magu local government area of Plateau State on Saturday. Because you see him addressing, drilling his men there. As the pictures on the cover of the Punch. Punch also has other stories. NSAS 103 recovered bodies, not Lekki toll gate victims, says Lagos. NSAS 103 recovered bodies, not Lekki toll gate victims, says Lagos. Guys injured as gunmen invade ex-minister's house in Nasarawa. Guys injured as gunmen invade ex-minister's house in Nasarawa. Federal government shuns National Assembly, goes ahead with Abuja Kano Airport's concession. Federal government shuns National Assembly, goes ahead with Abuja Kano Airport's concession. The story is on page 2 of the Punch newspaper. Above the masthead of the Punch, we have Senate gears up for ministerial screening awaits list this week. Senate gears up for ministerial screening awaits list this week. Dollar now 876 naira as forest shortage worsens. Sorry for that. Dollar now 876 naira as forest shortage worsens. Ganduje intensifies lobby as marship slot just before we go. And just like we've been doing with other papers, we move over to the editorial page of the Punch to see what the editorial is saying today. The editorial says economy before Tinubu loses the plot in quotes. Economy before Tinubu loses the plot in quotes. And of course, the lengthy one. It's almost a full page today on his editorial, economy before Tinubu loses the plot. For more stories, for more on that and other stories as well in the Punch, just log on to the website www.punchng.com. From the Punch newspaper, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and that is The Nation. The Nation is leading with the story APC NEC to ratify Ganduje Bashiru as chairman secretary. APC NEC to ratify Ganduje Bashiru as chairman secretary. Party's caucus endorses choices, while Adamu Omishore had to go by Lukman. Court of Appeal, a transmission of results not mandatory. Court of Appeal, a transmission of results not mandatory. For joining police, my lover left me, says IG. Zazaki's wife, bullet still lodged in my stomach. Zazaki's wife, bullet still lodged in my stomach. For more on that, just log on to the website of The Nation. And because the story is on page 3 of The Nation newspaper, above these ones, we have why I deserve re-election by Uzodima. Why I deserve re-election by Uzodima. Nido trains 300 plateau youths. Markets await monetary direction from CBN's MPC. Markets await monetary direction from CBN's MPC. Forex interest rate inflation on agenda of Apex Bank's force post Buhari Pali. Above the masthead, we have Benue Governor Elia 1.2 billion naira saved from ghost workers. Nigerian equities outperform global stocks with 1.3 trillion gain. Nigerian equities outperform global stocks with 1.3 trillion naira gain. September in Rome for Global Food Security Summit. IMF forecasts weak growth, inflation surge next year. We also move over to the editorial page of The Nation to see what the editorial is saying today. The editorial is on food emergency, a good idea, but it must be matched with action for optimal results. A good idea, but it must be matched with action for optimal results. That is the kicker for the editorial today, food emergency. Yet, if the lessons of multiple interventions in the agricultural value chain of the past 8 years are anything to go by, mere emergency declarations are never sufficient. Simply put, the declaration must be matched with sustained action. And we also have the second editorial, fake aviation fuel. Fake aviation fuel. Incredible but true. Rules must be tightened and those responsible identified and punished. The cause of the present fuel contamination must be identified with a view to ensuring such never occurs again. Where lapses are detected, there should be due sanctions. For more on that, just log on to the website of The Nation, www.thenationonlineng.net. From The Nation newspaper, we move over to the last paper for review this morning on this segment of the program, and that is This Day. This Day is leading with the story of Fenifeto Tinubu seek $13 billion debt forgiveness from creditors to stabilize economy. Afenifere to Tinubu seek $13 billion debt forgiveness from creditors to stabilize economy. Advises president to cut of government support hike in federal government's tertiary institutions tuition fees. Fitch, Nigeria's inflation to average 25.1% in 2023 as poverty rate spikes. Says real GDP growth to slow to 2.7% on high living costs. Growth expected to accelerate modestly to 3.2% in 2024. Forecast Dangote Refinery to begin operation bring relief by fourth quarter of 2023. The story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. And above that, we have Lagos SARS victims not from Lekki. Lagos SARS victims not from Lekki. Says rumor mischievous, insists facts haven't changed. NSITF received over 257 billion naira as contributions in 12 years, says MD. NSITF received over 275 billion naira as contributions in 12 years, says MD. Above the masthead of this day, we have Agusto and Co. Nigeria's assets under management hits 16.1 trillion naira in 2023. Agusto and Co. Nigeria's assets under management hits 16.1 trillion naira in 2023. And above that, we have Atiku. Heavens won't fall if tribunal removes Tinubu. Atiku. Heavens won't fall if tribunal removes Tinubu. Says that presidential election has never been nullified before, not good enough reason to avoid the right thing. SVP's aide, INEC admitted on record Article 121 states in February poll. For more stories on that, you also log on to the website of THISDAY. But just before we go, we want to see what the editorial on this day is saying. Today is Monday, 24th July 2023, and the editorial is still on the migration crisis. Still on the migration crisis, the authorities should strive to put the economy in order. It says there is need for a sustained sensitization campaign to let our young men and women know that the grass is not necessarily greener on the other side. Talking about the Japa syndrome. For more stories on this day and for this editorial, log on to the website of this day newspaper, www.thisdaylive.com. Well, viewers, this is where we come to the end of the first segment of the show inside Nigeria. Don't forget, the second segment is we take off with a review, not just review, but discussion of some of the headline stories. My mother guest is already in the studio to do justice to that. How do you stay?
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Welcome back. This is Inside Nigeria, your breakfast show on Leadership Television. My name is once again is Winifred Bevo, and in this segment of the program, I have it's not an in-house, it's a political scientist, economist, sorry, he's also a public affairs analyst, and you, Elias. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
My
Thank you for having me.
Monday guest.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to look at the cover headline story. I want you to have a discussion on the leading story on leadership newspaper that National Assembly spends 53.7 billion naira on cars for lawmakers in 12 years. We can't continue this way according to CSOs.
Right, it has
And it's coming
become
at the time that there's so much economic hardship
challenges.
challenges, and these lawmakers they don't want to know. Recently, the president announced that 70 billion out of the 500 billion naira he was collecting from the he was getting approval for was actually meant for them again. This has continued to draw flags from the majority of Nigerians saying that how can just NAS members have 70 billion naira why the rest of Nigerians have 8,000 naira per house
Right, it's
for a
becoming
household.
a recurring decimal to always discuss a buying of cars at every
Mm,
national assembly. You recall, you look at a
mm,
beautiful analysis by
yes, leadership.
leadership that talks about the about four national assembly 2011 to
Mm,
2023. Now, it practically shows that they are much more concerned about themselves, and I'm even much more surprised
mm,
when you see people like from labor who we think that are coming up from with different intention to salvage challenge of
mm.
Nigeria. They are also corporate now.
Yes, they are quite
None
quiet.
of
You don't
them
hear
even
their
say
voice.
anything.
No, it brings to mind that is it joke or something that they said that they are quiet. And I say, shh, you don't eat when you are talking.
You don't eat when you are
You
talking,
don't talk when
when
you
you
are
are
eating.
eating. Everything has come together.
Yes,
Now,
you don't
apart from
talk when you are
the
eating.
70 million is actually for to buy the
70 billion naira.
70 billion is to buy equipment according to them.
But what
There's
did
a
they
separate 40 billion
mm,
for the cars
cars?
that make it
Okay.
110
Yes, that's
10
what
10 billion. So
leadership is.
it's quite pathetic that we are going at this trajectory when Nigeria is dear need of a survivor,
Survivor.
because we cannot fix
Everybody's
our refinery. Everything is expensive.
mm,
Even up till now, there is no particular position that the National Assembly has taken on these
they
challenges
ruled
up till
against
now.
it. I think during the price increase to 617 naira as announced by NNPC, they actually had a debate on it whether to revert it back, and the Nays had it
I know,
that it should not be
I know
reverted.
this Ugo, what is his name? The deputy
Mm,
speaker on communication also
mm.
made the mention of it, and that's
He
why we
said
talk about
no,
the
and the
general.
Nays
It shows that the generality of them does
they
not
didn't support.
agree because they are in the benefit.
Mm.
The thing is, it's like the
Then
president
the
have
Nays
factored
had
them.
it at
It's
risk,
like the
so they ruled
president.
against
It's
it.
like the president has factored them into the
Yes,
palliative,
yes.
and they think the palliative is good enough. They are forgetting that they are representing the constituency, and people are suffering.
Suffering.
I can tell you for free that if you look at the level of suffering in Nigeria now,
Mm.
is beyond what we
It
expect.
is.
It is unbearable,
It is.
and I'm afraid people may resort to different things. So we need a succor as soon as possible.
But
And like I
it's
said, there should be solutions because this president will always come out with different policy. It's a spree of different policies, but he's not coming out with a solution, a meaningful, tangible solution. Now they have approved 10,000 cars, I mean buses. Now tell us the time, because Nigeria is a hope country, country that have hope. Tell us that in next 3 months, this bus will be available. In next 5 months, refinery will be available. In next 6 months, give us an analysis of how you want to really solve this recurring decimal problems. Give us
it is like in his case, he just putting the cart before the horse. I
honestly,
think that
that's
was what happened because
that's just
he just
correct.
increased, he removed subsidy without even giving a thought
It's
to the
not,
fact
you don't
that you're
even
supposed to
mention
have.
only subsidy. It's becoming a lot of things
Yes,
now. School fee has been increased
yes.
for Unity schools. You are going to be paying more on your cars.
Yes.
The
Now even tertiary
import duty
institutions
has also
with this
increased.
student loan that he said,
Yes, import duty
that
has also increased to
is
82%.
yes.
School fees is going to be, if you look at University of Lagos, from 19,000 to about 190,000,
Mm.
190,000 naira school fee. So everything is just increasing. My challenge is that you want to generate revenue.
Electricity is also about to increase.
You want to generate revenue, no problem. But what are you giving us in exchange?
Exactly.
Why will the city continue to sacrifice and the government is not
Adequate
sacrificing? The National Assembly is not sacrificing,
no,
even the presidency, they are not
they're not
sacrificing.
sacrificing.
So it's quite pathetic. That means Nigeria is left for suffering. But it's a time bomb and we have to be careful.
Yes, it's what me I don't really understand. And apart from we are still on National Assembly, there were
Right.
talks that most of this money they are also going to refurbish their offices, and that the ninth assembly
Made away,
members
went
made away
away.
with it.
Let's
Well,
just
why
went
would
away.
they make away with those things?
Well,
Is it their property?
no, I think so because
Office furniture.
Yes, I listened to was it on Shomole. I discovered that it's like when you come in, they will give you an allowance to furnish. That allowance is directly for you. So when you are going, you are allowed to also go with everything, the printer, the everything. So I think we need to review that thing. In as much as people will keep going and coming, it's just like a
Yes.
government house. Facility. So they have to review it. But I doubt if they will review it. You know why? This is how they always get money when they come back. You know, that's the thing. Because when they see you as a new person, they start giving you different allowance to make you shut up. I think that's the meaning.
How come the people leaders are leaders at the helm of affairs are not being able to at least streamline some of these their revenue?
And this is what we are saying. Now
Starting from
let's agree
Obasanjo
that
start,
PDP
because
has been in power for long,
Mm.
APC has been in power for long, and then PP is coming on board, the Labour Party is coming on board. What are these people also doing? Because if nobody voices out within that premise, they only see the challenges. Imagine if Labour Party said all of us in Labour Party we are rejecting this loan. Look at the impact it will bring. It will show that yes, they are more sensitive, and they will even gain more ground from Nigeria. But now it's like they are also joining.
And they now also
Yes,
just
they are
join
joining.
them.
Everything is just going
It's
the way
really
they
sad
want.
because
It's
you are not
quite
really have
appalling.
a vibrant opposition.
It's quite appalling.
It's even still those outside that are now actually calling the bluff of government to say no, this cannot continue.
So
Meanwhile,
that's why
the
everybody
National
wants to
Assembly
be in the government, because when you're in the
they are
government,
quiet,
you don't buy fuel, you don't buy anything, you just enjoy the government like this, and for 4 years you'll be enjoying it. So that's why everybody wants to die and make sure that they are in that office.
So would there ever be an end to this?
Well, I think the only way
brigandage of,
we can't.
resources by
It
National
will be pretty difficult ordinarily that you say once a senator is going, he should drop his car, and that person will take. Trust me, the next person will not take. But is there a way they can limit and reduce it? That's just our questions. We're not saying you shouldn't have facilities. We also want you to have a better office, a better car, but not at this level. It's becoming, too much to bear at this point in time. They should also be sensitive. Imagine if they say 20 billion, not 40 billion for cars. It's still possible. You still get a car.
Don't even think that it was
okay.
even during Buhari's time that even have Buhari that is supposed to be said to be prudent and
but he himself said he continued using the car the Jonathan
it was
used,
even
and
during his time that the National Assembly amassed so much, got higher money for cars.
well, it was
2015,
yeah,
the National
it was
Assembly got
4.7
billion.
billion.
And in 2019, they got 5.5 billion.
But now it's 40 billion. So it's geometric.
No, but now it's 40 billion. You see, I'm saying that it's during his
it doesn't drop. It's
Okay,
5.5
okay.
to 40 trillion. That's the
So
geometric
sorry.
increment.
Yes,
In fact, these
it's
people need
true.
to be checked. CSO will need to go ahead and look at this
It's
properly.
true. 5.5.
From 5.5
yes.
to 40 trillion. 40 billion, sorry. So that's quite huge. So that's why I say, why don't they even come to 20 billion? We know that this is 20 billion, but this amount is too much. You are getting 70 billion to fix your offices. You're also getting, this is over 80%.
Increase.
It's just it's too much. So it's quite pathetic. And this is what we should look at. And I appreciate this leadership for bringing it out, so people will understand the trajectory we are going. That is too bad. Look at from 5.5 to 40 billion naira. It's quite challenging. It's quite challenging. And look at the leadership of Akpabio. We were expecting him to also consider the situation of Nigeria and work towards where Nigeria can understand. And you are saying you want to share a patronage sum of 8,000 naira to an household. I did calculation of that money. So looking at 5 people in a family, that means you'll be living with 53 naira in a day. Because it's 8,000 naira now for 30 days for 5 people. So that means you will take 53 naira morning, afternoon, evening. I will also take the same thing. Can even 1,000 naira feed a baby now? So I think it's quite appalling. They need to look into it very well. They need to look at it very well.
So much. It's really, really appalling. Now, there's another story we want to also be discussing is the leading story on The Guardian. 105 more days of sit at home. Southeast loses 7.6 trillion naira productivity, investments to agitation in 2 years.
This shows a typical example of suffering and smiling of Fela Anikulapo Kuti, where people in the southeast are suffering, and they decided not to talk. Thanks to
I don't think many of them are quite
Of Enugu,
are in sync with that. It's just that
where
there's nothing. You see how they
everybody
go
are
about
suffering it.
these IPOB, these prescribed IPOB members or
Yes.
ESN, how they go about to enforce it. I saw a video trending that
Yes,
how they
they
were
are on red.
shooting.
They are shooting.
Yes.
The fact is that let's thank Governor Mba and maybe Soludo as well for coming up at this point in time that no, there will not be. In fact, there's a rally in Enugu today where they want to canvass against it at home, and he has also came to meet the IG and say he doesn't want any and head of military doesn't want sit at home because they actually lose. You know why?
But
Typical
they're
Igbo
not
man.
shooting their leg in the, how do you call it? There's a phrase that you shoot your leg in the foot. Because this is a homogeneous people. They are the ones that are doing the trade. It's their enclave, it's their region. They are the only ones doing the business. Yeah, they will insist that they will not open
It's
shop
not
for
even
business.
it's not even justified because you are canvassing that you want freedom, but you are killing
your
your
own
own self. That's the meaning now.
It's
So
true.
it's quite pathetic.
And
So
now
and
that the person that is instigating this violence is
he's
actually
in
coming
faraway
from
Finland.
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 And
He
I
has
heard
his
that
family,
members
his children,
overseas.
everything are in Finland.
And they
In fact, government
are
of Finland
obeying
went to him. I don't know what happened, and I'm also waiting for the Nigerian government. We should use diplomatic means to solve this problem.
Leadership did an editorial on that.
You cannot be in Finland and be controlling Nigerian 5 states. That means you're even more powerful than a governor. Because when you are there and you say they should not go out and decide not to go out.
Is gullible or misguided food soldiers.
Do you know the economic loss of it? Thank God there is a price towards 7.6 trillion. Because Monday is beginning of the week whereby you start everything, but they are saying apart from Monday itself, do you know all that days they are also in palpable fear that they don't know what will happen. That's the problem. So I don't know who, and I'm sure this governor needs to do more and also hold traditional rulers also accountable for this because they can't say they don't know people around them.
However, many people also hold the security agencies culpable in the sense that they if they had wanted to, they would have rounded these miscreants up.
When they do that,
they're supposed to go out to ensure that they don't come.
You don't see that's I will not agree with that because people of Southeast will also say they are. When they did crocodile cry that time, show of power in the South, all the Southeast governors, all the traditional say they are coming to overpower their state. They want to militarize their environment. Now you have seen it because you stop them from carrying out just crocodile, action so that to scare these people away. You said no, they shouldn't come. They should go away. They are militarizing everywhere. They want to create a roadblock everywhere. Now you are now calling on them again to come to rescue you. So I think there's need of cooperation of the governor, the traditional ruler, and the federal government to really solve the problem. Because traditional ruler definitely will have understanding of where these challenges are coming from, who is leading them. This is it's a domestic affair. It's a local affair. It's not that somebody is coming from the north or from the southwest or from south to attack them. It is people within. Remember, some Nigerian political big wigs also lost their life. Remember Gulag? That former SA political. He lost his life around that side. He was traced around that side allegedly.
Their own person. Late
Dora Queen. So a lot. Thank you, Dora Queen's husband. So it's becoming serious issues,
really,
and they are not hiding their face. They will be taking responsibility. They should fish them out and deal with them. If not, they will kill the economy the more, and they will have problem with internal generated revenue because you cannot wait for government at every time. Look at a place like Anambra. Ordinarily, we should give them much more. No, this guy has tried. We should celebrate him. Ifeanyi, the YPP, he has bring out the technology now that they should secure all the environment. Yes, he has spent his money that they should secure all. We all there's a particular assets in Anambra. They should secure it, and he has give them because he said they must be selling every day because you understand that the livelihood will be lost, and if only him as a senator can carry out that, what do we expect? We don't expect less from a governor, and that is it.
It's really, really sad because the people of the same zone, the same language and culture will actually
Thank you.
shoot itself in the.
I like what you said. People of the same culture, the same what have you, the same, mostly the same faith. Allow them themselves to be, bring down to this level with common IPOP. Even the Namdi Kanu is even denying approving sit at home, and you are even saying they should release it. Someone that is there is even saying no. He even said he doesn't know that guy in Finland. Simon Ekpa, or what's that guy name? And it's causing serious mayhem. So they should look for some. I think federal government should also go to Finland or go to be a diplomatic, take him out of that place. You cannot be there and be causing problem. Can someone be in Nigeria and be causing problem in Finland? They cannot take that. They cannot tell. If I thought some people are gullible to follow him, because I think they are gullible. If you're not gullible, how can someone tell you to be killing your people? People of the same culture, people of the same ethnicity, people of the same faith. Someone will just tell you that be killing and do not come out on Mondays. I don't know what that means. He has even declared it 13th to something another day. I don't know what the meaning of that. So government needs to I don't want to say national government should be held responsible. State government and traditional ruler should put their heads together and bring possible solutions. So just a possible solution for the federal government to be active, to take a proactive action on it. I think that's how it should be.
Thank you so much. Now, just before we go, we also have to look at the Punch newspaper's headline today. Workers kick as governors borrow 2.2 trillion naira from banks. Governors borrowing spree has left states poorer. Pensioners, workers laments.
Right, and this shows her like a dasco and laziness of our governors. Yes, and that's what I'm saying now. Now, what did they borrow this money for? If you take notes now, it will be for recurrent expenditure. Yes. So how can you borrow to pay salary, borrow to pay to service even debt again itself, borrow for for domestic? If you are borrowing and it is not for capital project, please don't borrow. And if you have to borrow, come to the central government, to the federal government and say, we want to borrow. Let them even approve it for you. Because if you allow these governors to continue to borrow, they will borrow future of the state away. So that's the thing. They are borrowing to pay salary. They are borrowing to pay recurrent expenditure, borrowing to welcome and pay their state assembly. And these are the problems. So there must be caution that if you want to borrow, it must be for capital project, and you must also forward it to national government to approve it for you. Because if you don't do that, they just go to their state assembly. Remember, they are rubber stamp. This is what we want to borrow, and this is what is in it for you. They will quickly sign it. So I think government should, because this debt is what is killing Nigeria now. Because some people are telling people that you should go for debt relief. Who will give you debt? Who will give you?
We're already using
90% to service debt. So who will now give you what do you call it? Debt forgiving, when they know that you are using that debt to service, recurrent expenditure. So it doesn't make sense for Obasanjo and Okonjo-Iweala to have secured that debt. There's a lot of work, underground work in it. I doubt if they can give us the second time. We just have to pay. The way I'm saying, because why can you use 90% of your income to service debt? It's become appalling. In fact, I was thinking President Tinubu would say the money that President Buhari wants to borrow for the palliative, that he wouldn't want to borrow. Because I don't expect him to borrow for the next 2-3 years.
Me too.
Just come on board, don't borrow, do your internal works, and let things move on. So I don't know, but the thing is, they should stop borrowing the future of Nigerians. Because that's just the thing. That's the thing. They are subjugating us to the whims and caprices of the owner. Remember what happened in Zambia also, where they want to take over things. They should not come and take over anything in Nigeria. A very, very key.
Well, we pray. This is where we end today's morning show inside Nigeria, brought to you on Leadership Television viewers. So it's always a pleasure to host you on program.
Thank you for having me.
I look forward to having you next week.
Thank you.
That's political economist and is also a public affairs analyst, Aliu Elias. My name is Winifred Ugabo. Until I come your way again, same time, same station tomorrow. Remain blessed. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.